All right, I think we are on. Someone let me know in the comments if we are or not, but I think we're on. So let's get this started. Getting started a few seconds early. Man, I really didn't advertise this, so I'm kind of hoping. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm kind of hoping that people will be able to remember that we're here. Oh yeah, there I am. I am on. Hello. All right, so let's see here. A few things I wanted to go over with. One, it's funny. There's an EU hater that I mentioned a while back who mocked the some of the Star Wars Facebook pages, EU pages, because they went private. And yet I noticed this week he set his Facebook and Twitter to private. Yeah. Wow. Now he kind of knows what it feels like, huh? Hey, speaking of the EU movement, let me give some updates. Someone asked me the question, Matt, any updates on the EU movement? Not yet. All I can say is, first off, I am not the one who decides. There's a group of people, and they decide, and they tell me, and then I go ahead and announce on my YouTube channel. Now, I am for anything that they want to do, anything. But they do have some ideas. I can't talk about them right now because nothing's set in stone. There's one idea that I kind of like, but because of the price, it would cost more than a billboard, and it's not a billboard. I don't want to do another billboard. We've already done that. But they came up with an idea that I liked until I heard about the price. It costs more than a billboard, and it's not worth it. So I don't want to do that. Now, if they go that route, I'll promote it either way. That's fine. But I just don't think that's the best route then because of the price there. They have another one that's less than half, the price, and it's just as effective in my opinion, and it's just as cool. And I say we shoot for that one. I like it better. I like that idea better. Again, I can't tell you what the ideas are because nothing's been decided. I do not speak for the group. But whichever one they choose, I will support it. The other one I like a little bit better because if we made extra, which I'm almost positive we would, here's my idea. Wouldn't it be funny if we took those packages, those what was it? Those the extra, and we went to some of these Star Wars fan sites and say, hey, we'd like to buy advertisement off force.net. And wouldn't that be funny? The people who wrote so many bad things about us, now they're at a conundrum, right? Because now they either have to turn down money, which every website will take your money, or they get to advertise us. I think that's funny. Have them working for us. Hey, that movement you said was going to be nothing after a few years, going to burn out. These guys are just angry. They'll get over it. And yet they're still here and they're bigger. Yet now we have all this money and we'd like to advertise on your site. I think that would be hilarious. But again, that is not for me to decide. That is for them to decide. If they choose option B, which is the one I'm going for, I think that would be great because there's a few other things there too. But anyway, I can't talk any more about it. But if news does come up, I will mention it. Excuse me. I'm congested this morning. Let's see. Lightning struck the clock tower 61 years ago today. Oh, yeah, I guess so. By the way, you can go ahead and put in your questions here because I'm almost, well, not almost done, but I've got one more question I want to talk about. Someone was asking me, and I'll answer that. Then I'll start answering yours. Charity, by the way, Darth Harbinger. Charity would be a great idea. The only thing is on a charity, and I would be for that, but that would get zero media coverage. Oh, that Chuck Wendig said, oh, it'd be nice of y'all to give them that charity. Yeah, we would have been a footnote. They would have ignored it. No one would have reported it. No one would have reported that the EU movement did that. But I am up for charities. In fact, we did do the library drive, right? The book donations and whatnot. That was really good. I have a few ideas for some charity runs we can do. But for right now, do a Kickstarter to give it money to charity. They would ignore us. They take the money, but they would not mention us at all. And so we get little media. And the whole point is I want people to know we're around. Remember, our number one goal is to get people to know about us, right? find out that we're out there. There's a ton of expanded universe people who just left Star Wars completely back in the day. Said, okay, you're gonna get rid of the EU, then I'm out, or I'm done. Every a couple of weeks, I get an email or message on my YouTube account saying, Matt, wow, I never knew. I just found out about you, man. I used to love the EU, man. This is great. I wish I would have known about you a few years ago. You know, people just don't know we're there. So anything that gets us out there, that gets us coverage, that gets us notoriety, that brings more people into the movement, because there's hundreds of thousands of people out there who love the expanded universe. And to my knowledge, I mean, yeah, there's tens of thousands of people on Facebook who are, have they're on the sites and whatnot. And I'm not very social media savvy, but they follow those pages. And but there's more out there who don't even know about us. And so that's the point, is to spread the word of the EU, because when more voices are clamoring for more EU, hey, that's when we start to win. Let's see here. Do I think Clone Wars series ruined General Grievous and the rest of the CIS? Yeah, I already talked about this. Yeah, I think Grievous was definitely belittled, because now he gets beat by everyone, right, in the Clone Wars TV show. And so if you're watching in chronological order and you get to Revenge of the Sith, then you're thinking, oh, Grievous, oh, well, Obi-Wan and Anakin beat him. No, Obi-Wan's beat him a billion times over, so this won't be any different. Even Ahsoka went toe-to-toe with him, and got away. So he's not that dangerous. So it cheapens General Grievous. I agree with that. Trump or Hillary? I can't answer that. I will say this. Every election prior to this one, I have never voted Republican or Democrat. Never. Prior to this one, I voted for the independent candidate. And I think people should have their eyes open and say, hey, if neither candidate is for you, find someone who is, because there's tons of third candidates. And I'm talking about Gary Johnson or Jill Stein either. I'm just saying there's usually been a third candidate, independent candidate, every year that lines up with my beliefs. And that's who I'm going to vote for. Oh, Matt, you're throwing your vote away. Or, a vote for so-and-so is a vote for this person. Everyone said a vote for Gary Johnson is a vote for Hillary, or a vote for Donald Trump. And to be honest, no, it's your vote. It's your vote. Vote with the candidate you like the most. So that's it. I'm not going to get on a political perch here, but nice try. Let's see. There's a really good idea. If I could enter a movie in I love Last Action Hero. That's a funny movie. With the golden ticket, which episode 1 through 6 would you be in? Oh, okay. Which Star Wars episode would I be in, like in real life? What am I thinking? It's Return of the Jedi. I want to hang out with the Ewoks, man. Man, they party. The party at the end, right? I want to party with the Ewoks at the end. I bet there's a monster party. I'd bring Yub Nub too. Hello, everyone. What is my favorite clone-focused episode? Off the top of my head, there's a few that I like, but off the top of my head, I like the new recruits. I don't remember the name of the episode, but they were new recruits, and they had the batch 89 or number 99 or whatever. The one with the hump and everything, and he was an honorary member, even though he was a deformed clone. I really liked that one. I remember thinking that was a really good one. But there's a few others in there. Remember, I do make fun of Filoni a lot, but I loved half of the Clone Wars. Like 50% of it is really good, and the other 50% is pure garbage, and that's what's aggravating. It's pure garbage. Well, that and the fact that he went on his own path and total disregard for the expanded universe. That was the main reason. But the other one is the episodes were flip a coin. I mean, there are sometimes I'd sit there and watch TV and do something else, and like it was a chore to watch Clone Wars. This is for me and Bruce both. Bruce from Prince of the Universe podcast. Hey man, huge fan. All right, good deal. I'm not sure. Unbutton that shirt. Is it too high? Hold on, there. It's not one of those type of shows now, but we'll do this. How's that? That looks cooler. All right. He looks cool. Man, you guys are awesome. Let's see. Do you think I would have included Alpha 17 in Filoni's Clone Wars? You know what? I'd like Tartovsky to deal with that one in the animated Clone Wars series. Sith Wars. Why weren't there more stories in this era? You know what? They're in the new Sith Wars and whatnot. I think they were moving that way. We saw a lot more Old Republic books coming out. We saw Dawn of the Jedi forming, and I think that was an era that wasn't explored as much. And so Star Wars was turning. I think they were going to turn away from this Clone Wars stuff. They're never going to turn away from the Rebellion era. But I think they were trying to find a new place since the prequel eras had basically been, filled in. They were going back further, and I think they would have developed more stuff if given time. In fact, I'm almost positive Drew Karpyshyn would have done a few more Sith novels. That's just my opinion, though. What's my interpretation of the Chosen One prophecy? Well, I mean, it is what it is, I think. Anakin is the Chosen One. He did bring balance to the Force. I think he brought balance to the Force when he destroyed Emperor Palpatine, though. I think that's when he brought balance to the Force, was in Episode 6. That's just my opinion. You think Jimmy Tales would have ended? How do I think Tales the Jedi would have ended if Tom Veitch never left and would have been a good? You know what? Actually, Kevin J. Anderson told me that he met with Veitch and got his outline to finish it out. So that is a little bit of Veitch in there. Sure, Anderson wrote it all, but he said, "Hey, what were you thinking going forward? Tell me the overall story arc you had." So Tom Veitch worked with Kevin J. Anderson. He's not a fan of Lucasfilm. Veitch isn't, but he did like Anderson. Anderson's a really good guy to get along with. I was talking to Dave Wolverton this summer, and Dave Wolverton was telling me that Kevin J. Anderson is just a master at just getting people to get along with people, getting publishers to go with his ideas, getting people to give up the rights for certain things. Like, for instance, folks, the Herbert people, Frank Herbert's children, they don't want anyone having the rights to Dune. You can't get the board game rights. Board game industry, when I was at Gen Con, they are begging that family to let them reprint the Dune board game. They won't. They won't give out the rights to anything. That's why you won't see the cheap little Dune toys like you see at Firefly. People would buy these toys, but they're not merchandising. They're not selling the rights. But Kevin J. Anderson got them to agree to let him write more books with his son, Brian. And they love Kevin J. Anderson. And Kevin J. Anderson is the only one who has gotten the family to give out the rights to make more Dune stuff. Sure, it's just the books, which, by the way, they're excellent. I'm almost done with a third Schools of Dune book. I'm going to review that on Prince of the Universe. Probably not next week. Probably 2 weeks away. Because I'm still not done with the book. I still got like 120 pages or something left, which won't be read by Monday. But anyway, so Kevin J. Anderson's really masterful in marketing. Marketing is his strong point. And it's just one of the great things that I love about the man. But anyway, yeah, Tales of the Jedi, that's Veitch's idea, just told through Kevin J. Anderson. And it wasn't, Lucasfilm didn't want Veitch, they didn't want Veitch. And Veitch didn't want Lucasfilm. It's something I'll talk about. I think I already talked about that, right? Tales of the Jedi? Yeah. He got kicked off. I'll talk about it again when we get to Dark Empire. Anyway. All right. Wow, look at that. I'm going to forget this last question I got earlier. So let's see. When doing the Star Wars timeline, can I use the novelization of the games? Yes, you should. If there's not that many video games that got their own books, but you always go by the novelization because that is canon. The video games are secondary canon. Someone asked me, Matt, where does this video game go? At first, remember, folks, I was going to do video games in there, but then I decided that should not be right. First off, video games are secondary canon. And secondly, I am not the expert of video games. Remember when I tried to review or Knights of the Old Republic? I said, well, here it is. And I talked a little bit about it. Excuse me. And I got it completely wrong. And everyone called me out on it too, which is right, because I shouldn't be reviewing video games because I didn't play that many video games. So I feel like me reviewing a video game is kind of fake because I never played it. Most of them I never played. So I shouldn't be talking about them. I just feel that I don't have that background. That's someplace that's out of my lane. So that and its secondary canon is why I don't review those. What's your favorite era in the expanded universe? I think I told someone this the other day. It's post-Jedi. I like the post-Jedi era, my favorite. But there's great stuff. I'll be honest, going through the Clone Wars, even though it's been a headache, it's such a headache. And by the way, I'm not going to finish the Clone Wars till next year, probably. I thought I could get it done this year, doing all the double videos. And I found out there's way too much stuff. But anyway, I found it's not as bad as I thought it would be. In fact, there's a lot of good stuff, mainly in the comic books. But some of the novels are good too. So I've actually enjoyed it. Matt, you didn't talk about the controversy with Karen Travis and the 3 million clone troopers. Should I do it now? I was gonna wait until the end. Screw it, I'll do it now. If I think about it later on, I will. Karen Travis said there are 3 million clone troopers, which is a big no because it's the universe we're talking about. 3 million people cannot be a big army. It's a big army on Earth, but not in the universe. It should have said 3 billion or something. But they said that was the first batch, is what they turned into. One of the, I think it's Guide to Warfare, retcons it and saying that was the first batch that went out, and that's what she was referring to. The first batch was 3 million, a small order, and that's why they were updating it. Because at first they were testing out clones and whatnot and not get the formula right. Or I can't remember what Jason Fry says. Someone may remember in the comments, but that's what they turned it into. But the thing was, that was very short-sighted. Even myself, when I read it, I knew that. I was like, what? It's like saying, yeah, there were 300 of them. What? Are they Spartans? What is going on here? So Karen Travis got a lot of heat for that. And I will give final thoughts on Karen Travis when we get done with Imperial Commando, I think. I'll give final thoughts on Karen Travis. There's a lot about Karen Travis. I'm not trying to give it all away in my first video. I want to talk. I had to talk about True Colors because I don't want people thinking that just because Matt doesn't like it, I shouldn't read it. I don't. My word should not be, gold. If ever I give quotes or something, you feel free to check it out and fact check me on it. If ever I give a bad review in a book, man, if you got a good review on it, you put it in the comments. I have no problem with people disagreeing with me on this. In fact, I like to hear other people's opinions, okay? I'm not closed-minded. I'm not going to riot in the street if someone disagrees with me with Karen Travis's Clone Wars novels. That's not me. I'm always open to hearing other people's thoughts on it. And I mean, if you have good things to say, then go ahead and say them. Because I'll be honest, there were a few of us who didn't like Karen Travis's novels, and I see there's a few more on my channel, which is awesome. Not because I think I'm right, but just because it's nice to have people that, oh, you think the same way. Because online back in the day, woo! And like I said, there's a few people who didn't like them, but there's a lot of people who did. And I totally understand why. Totally understand why. But for me, those novels weren't for me. Anyway, let's see. Do you find Twi'lek females hotter than humans? Can I answer that with my wife in the next room? Yeah. What's my favorite DC comics? Got to be Batman. Love Batman. Used to collect Batman back in the day. Hush is probably my favorite one. I haven't read much past Hush though, so that was years ago now. They haven't read. In fact, it's funny that you say that. For Christmas, that may be a good idea. Ask for some of those Batman trade paperbacks. In fact, I'm going to do that. What a great, hold on, gotta write that down. Hush. I want to read that again. A lot of these I read from my best friend Bruce, and I did buy some trade paper, some Batman trades just recently. So whoa, I am far behind here. Alston or Stackpole? Come on, Dak. Whatever. It's a tie. It's a tie. Alston leading barely, just only because of the humor, but it's very close there. I love them both. Do you think canonized Force entity Abeloth would be considered the expanded universe as whole canon? Yeah, she was. She's in the books, so she's whole canon. Are you talking about new canon? No, but whole canon, yeah, she is. My friend Stars, there's a complaint he has numbers the number of Siths that appear post Jedi. Are your thoughts on the Sith? Okay, on Sith appearing, remember that's a lost tribe of the Sith that was stranded on a planet. Now there aren't any Sith. There's just dark Jedi in it. There's lots of dark Jedi, but there's not many Sith. The term Sith you can only find in the Fate of the Jedi series. I think that's when they find them, right? I'm thinking through my head here. Yeah, that's when they find them. So that's the only time you hear about Sith. Everything else, there's no Sith. They're just dark Jedi. So you may be getting those two confused. Video games are S canon. They've always been S canon. Sorry. Um, go on 1st of December, German Comic Con. Wow. Okay, going to a Comic Con, German Comic Con, huh? Looking for Star Wars. What should I start with? You know, someone asked me this last night at our board game night. What comic book should you start off on? It's hard. Either Tales of the Jedi, because I love that entire series. So you find the trades. Tales of the Jedi, Dark Empire. Those would be my first two. Crimson Empire is another good starting place too. But those would be my three. You know, Knights of the Old Republic's really good too. Yeah, any one of those eras that you want to start off in, those are really good. Opinion about DC Rebirth. You know, my brother was reading DC Rebirth. He loves it. I haven't read it. I need to. I want to. I hear the very first issue is just fan-friggin-tastic. It's an apology letter to the fans about how comic books have really just mistreated fans, something that I hear Marvel needs to do because they've been mistreating their fans bad. Do you think Red Letter Media killed the expanded universe? No. I think Red Letter Media is all right. You know, I've talked to Mike before on back before he really got popular. Now I don't talk to him as much. I don't talk to him a lot ever. But back when he was blowing up, he used to email people, and so we emailed, chatted back and forth for a little while. In fact, we were supposed to meet at one of the Comic Cons, but then he couldn't make it. But he's a good guy. He's just pointing out the facts that the new movies aren't as good. I don't think he knows much about the expanded universe at all, or at least when I talked to him, he didn't seem to know. I know he doesn't care for that. I mean, he doesn't read the books and whatnot. He's a movie guy. He's a movie buff. But he seems to be a nice guy. Costa Rica, awesome. Do you think junior or young Jedi Knights novels are just as important as the rest? You know what? I think junior and young adult novels are important. I do. To be honest, I'm not even kidding. Jedi Apprentice, fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. Some of the better books can be young adult and children's books. Like, what was the one from Karen Travis that I talked about? I can't see it on my shelf right now. The Clone Wars one, No Way Out, I think. I thought it was one of the best books out there. There's a lot of good young adult and children's books that, in my opinion, are really good. Jude Watson is just fantastic. Dave Wolverton can write good children's novels. Ryder Wenham has done some good stuff. And that's another thing. Even the Boba Fett books, they've done a really good job, or they did a really good job, I should say, of making children's novels just as important and continuity infused as adult books. Now, yeah, the adventures aren't as epic, but the thing is, though, it's still a good read. Most of them, not all of them, but most of them, I would say. All right. Will I ever do a top 5 or 10 comic books like you're doing for the novels? Yeah, I'll do a top 5. I already mentioned one of them. Tales of the Jedi is one of my favorites. One of my absolute favorite comic books. Let me look into that, and I'll do a top 5. I'll do a top 5 maybe later on, but yeah, I know I can think of a top 5. Tales of the Jedi is definitely in there. Maybe Knights of the Old Republic too. I don't know. Have I seen Doctor Strange? No, I haven't. The missus isn't interested, and I'm not interested either. I don't like Benedict Cumberbatch. I know that's not his name. That's why I call him. I don't like him. And the movie looks a little strange, so I haven't. I hear it's okay. It's not bad, so I don't know. Maybe if I'm bored. Will you be doing Expanded Universe daily fixes? Will you be doing the daily fixes? Oh, you mean doing these every day? No, this is it. This is the end of all the videos. We're going to go back to our regular schedule. Man, I mean, it was a lot of fun, but I had to stay up late a lot of nights editing videos and filming stuff. It's crazy. Anyway, do you think Marvel comic books is broken? Yeah, Marvel comic books has some issues, some big issues. They are not listening to their fans. They're losing fans a lot in the comic book era. It's really, really awful what's going on with Marvel comic books right now. They'd rather they're doing shocking things to get in the news, like making people women or switching their gender, switching their race just to get in the news. And that's honestly and Chuck Dixon actually did an interview on a podcast I listened to where he said that's what they're doing. They're just trying. That's all they're told to do is do shocking stuff that will get them mentioned in the newspaper, so people will pick up one issue to see what it's about. But that's all they're doing now. They're total disregard for the fans, and it's ticking a lot of Marvel fans off. And it's sad that they would do that. Matt, you're a genius. Not really, Mr. Banta. Is that? I wonder if that's the Banta. The Banta who's coming over to my house tonight for board games. I hope it is. I'm going to stop right here. Folks, I had a board game night last night. I've had a few board game nights now. And we've been playing through Catan, which and all the expansions. I mean, all the mini expansions, Oil Springs, Helpers of Catan, Frenemies, Seafarers, Cities and Knights. We just played Traders and Barbarians, one of my favorite expansions. We played all but one of the mini games in there and had a blast on each one. I only won once, though. There's a kid in there who knows Catan. He is super good at Catan. But anyway, he's winning most of them. I don't care because I'm having fun just playing it. So tonight, I think we're going to finish up the last Traders and Barbarians mini game. And then we're going to ease off Catan. Since that's all we did last night was play different versions of Catan. And we're going to go back to Pandemic. I want to play In the Lab. I just showed them Pandemic, and now I want to add the In the Lab expansion to it. I already did play the On the Brink expansion, so we want to do that. Co-op games are really fun too. And after that, who knows? Now, if I invite more new people who haven't played Pandemic, I don't know what I'll do. I'll still make them play Pandemic. I think Pandemic's a good game, and In the Lab's not too confusing. And like I said in my review of it, I wouldn't bring it out while teaching someone Pandemic, but In the Lab is a fantastic expansion, and I want to add it into all of my games. But when I have to teach people how to play Pandemic, it's probably not wise to bring out a whole nother board and say, okay, here's another aspect to the game, because that would make it too confusing. I know that would turn me off if I was, first watching a game and he pulled out like 2 different boards and 2 different things going on. You're going, what? But once you get the hang of Pandemic, then In the Lab's fantastic, and you will not go back from playing it all together. So that's hopefully what I'm going to play tonight. And then next week, Explorers and Pirates, the final Catan expansion. And then probably play the final Pandemic expansion. Why not? State of Emergency. Anyway, that's my board game stuff. Woohoo! Let's see. Legacy or New Jedi Order here? New Jedi Order. I love Legacy too. I can't wait to review them. Do you think it would be possible to have a young adult series set during New Jedi Order? Ha 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 ha! Whatever, Dylan. Yeah, I'd love to see it too. I'd like to see Troy Denning write it too. Oh no, Poppy died. Oh, by the way, Waru didn't get the votes for president. I was really hoping for it, but that's okay. That's okay. Waru will be back in 2020. That's what he's going to try at least. I guess love trumps Waru. Let's see. Will you be doing a Star Wars show interview with some of the Star Wars fan base culture because he is a genius? What will you be doing? The Star Wars show interview with some other Star Wars fan base culture? No, I don't have any plans for any of that, I don't think. Favorite Ryder Wenham EU story? Oh, that's tough. It's got to be his the Breakout Squadron novels. It's got to be. Oh, he did some good comic books too. That's a great question. I'm gonna go with the Breakout Squadron young adult novels. Again, there's another example of just excellent writing. I'm gonna go with those right now, off the top of my head. What do I think about Michael Cogg? Don't really know him. No Prisoners. Thank you. That was the name of the Karen Travis, not No Way Out, No Prisoners. Thank you for that. I can't see. I'm at a different angle here, and I can't see on my shelf there. I always, when y'all ask me questions like this, I always look at my shelf. That's what I'm looking at when I'm looking over there. Let's see. Oh, I'm way behind already. Look out. Are there Star Wars Purge comics worth the read? Heard it was on par with the new Darth Vader comic books that are canon. They're okay. I need to go back through and read those again, though. They're okay if I remember right. We'll be reviewing them sometime next year because Purge happens during dark times. I should be welcome to the Star Wars show interview. They would never take me. I would gladly be on there, but I don't think I'm not that big of a personality though. What's my opinion on Crimson Empire? That's another good one too. Another good one. Do you think Marvel needs to reboot their universe? You know, Marvel technically reboots. They don't say they reboot, but they kind of do. I knew it was you, Nick. Anything is their Star Wars comes pretty well organized. But what is your opinion of the best movie of the year? Why is it Deadpool? Oh, you're stealing my thunder. You know what? Wait till the Saturday morning Sam Flange. I'll give my reasons why I think that's the best movie of the year. And who knows? The year isn't up yet. There may be one movie that trumps it, like Michael Keaton's The Founder. Anyway, you bought the travel edition of Catan. You know what? I heard the travel edition's kind of cool. You know, I wish there were travel editions like that back when I was a kid. We had the little magnets on a board where you play chess or checkers, and I despise checkers, but I love the chess. So we play the magnet chess, and that's what we play in the car. Back in the day, back before iPhones, folks, and iPads, you brought little travel chest or your action figures, or you just sat there and counted cars. I mean, honestly, it was a boring life growing up. Is there a new Clone War in the New Republic or in the New Jedi Order? No, not that I think of. No. What are your thoughts on The Killing Joke? Oh, I love The Killing Joke. That's probably my favorite comic book. I love The Killing Joke. Animated movie was all right. The comic is fantastic. I love the comic book. Opinion of the Dark Forces trilogy? Good. Can't wait to review it. Is Star Wars moving out? No news about it. PHS, you may have got on the live Q&A a little bit late. After it's over, go back and review the very first part of it. I do talk about the updates of the EU movement. Did I watch the Justice League animated series? Yes, and I own them both, that and Unlimited. I think they're really good. Now, to be honest, I read these later in life. Like I watched these later in life, like 2 years ago, but loved them, bought them after I watched them. Thought they were great. Whoa, have you gone on the Star Wars Legend forum? No. What is your opinion of the Yuuzhan Vong War? Loved it. Can't wait to review that era. You still playing zombies? Yeah, every once not as much, Nick. Only because there's been so many other board games I've been wanting to show people, but zombies is still always in my heart. I want to play. Heck, if you come over tonight, we'll play one. We'll play some zombies. That's what you want to play. I'm always up for zombies. Love zombies. Let's see. Any opinion on the Justice League season 3 happening? I haven't heard if there is one. I've seen Pablo's interview. I haven't seen Dave's interview on the Star Wars show. Esteban on the Prince of the Universe podcast, I actually talked about my thoughts on Pablo's interview on that. The podcast, folks, Prince of the Universe. Oh, Troy's here. Hey, Troy. By the way, folks, Troy has a complete collection of the old Kenner Star Wars toys, all of them. It's amazing. I would love to be him. You know, I'd love to be that guy. That's so awesome. Anyway, yeah, I mentioned a lot of this on Prince of the Universe. Prince of the Universe is still the podcast I mentioned EU news on and nerd sci-fi stuff on. And then Saturday Morning Sam Flange is usually doing a top 5 of movies, TV, video games. We're actually, CJ even brought up the topic. He said, hey, we should talk about music, which I can't see that going more than one episode, but we'll do music even sometime on it. So yeah, you need to check out those podcasts. I put links to it on my weekly rundown, which I guess will be next Monday. But on the weekly rundown, I usually put the links down there for the new podcast, so check them out. and always, if you want to ask a question of us on the podcast, you can also just put a comment in one of my videos saying, you know, hashtag POTU, Princess of the Universe, or SMS, and ask the question, and we'll answer it on the podcast at any time, you know, or whenever the next podcast comes around. Let's see, it's on. And by the way, the podcasts are both on iTunes, and I do a link to the little blog that links up to iTunes if you don't have iTunes. Oh, what do you like about reading the DC universe comics in the extended universe? What do you like about reading the DC? Oh, I mean, I just like the stories. What are your thoughts on the Batman the animated series? Best animated series out there, best cartoon series out there. Love Batman. Never watched Batman Beyond till a few years ago too. Bought all the Batman Beyond. I thought it was great. Back when Batman Beyond came out, I thought, oh, this is gonna be garbage. It's gonna be no good, you know. And it turned out that it was actually really good and continued on from the animated series. So I was wrong on that. That and the Justice League comic books are really good. I mean, comic books. Why did I say that? Justice League cartoon series, really good. So now I own them all, love them. Got to meet, I've lost his name now, Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman. Super nice guy, signed autographs for free, takes pictures for free, which is really rare. Everyone wants to get that money, but he doesn't care about the money. He cares about the fans. He is an unbelievable gentleman. He's a great guy. Do I think Filoni's Clone Wars made Anakin out of character? It's hard to say that because Anakin's supposed to be a whiny kid. He's supposed to be impetuous. He's supposed to be spoiled in a way. He's supposed to be all those characters. But every time you try to bring that across on the small screen, even the big screen, it comes across as petty or silly or stupid. He's just being childish. And it's hard to do. So that's not really an answer to that. So no, I don't think so. I just think it's hard to put that kind of whininess, immaturity in Anakin's character without making him look silly. It can be done, excuse me, but a lot of times it wasn't done right. Which superheroes from the DC universe do you like the most? It doesn't have to be all the movies. Oh, no, I'm not. I won't even talk about the movies. Superheroes. Batman, obviously my favorite. I love Flash. Who else do I like? I used to collect Green Lantern, Hal Jordan Green Lantern. So I do like Green Lantern a little bit. I don't like Superman. I'm not a Superman fan. Don't like Wonder Woman. I like Aquaman, but that's mainly a joke because I don't think anyone's favorite character can be Aquaman. But my Aquaman T-shirt is one of my most cherished superhero T-shirts I have. I love the Aquaman T-shirt. Who else do I like? Oh, you know what? Oh no. What's his name? Firestar. Fire Hazard. Fire. Obviously, he's not my favorite, right? The guy with the flame shooting out of his head. I can't remember his name. He used to be one of my favorite toys back in the day. I loved him. So there's a few of them. There you go. After you finish with Clone Wars, are you going to review New Jedi Order and Legacy of the Force? Well, remember, after Clone Wars, Nick, I've got the Dark Times, I've got the Rebellion Era, and that's going to be the entire next year, I think. I think Dark Times and the Rebellion Era, which is huge, will fill up a whole nother year. And then after that, it'll be post-Jedi stuff, which will fill out a whole nother year. And by then, we'll probably have new Expanded Universe to review, right? I mean, if I ever get to the end of it, you know, like at the end, if I ever make it to the end, don't be upset because I'll start doing a conglomerative top 5 worst, best, you know, comics, books, children's books, whatnot. I got plenty of ideas of, you know, stuff to put out afterwards. It's, you know, Star Wars Expanded Universe is just, it's going to lend me to a ton of more videos to do. All right, let's see. Favorite John Williams Star Wars score? I cannot say. They're all beautiful. They're all even the prequel stuff is really, really good. Did I ever watch the Captain Caveman cartoon? Troy, you know I did. Captain Caveman. Loved Captain Caveman. Captain Caveman was funny. He was cool. Yeah, loved Captain Caveman. All right, I'm way behind. How did I get this far behind? All right, hold on. What would be a good EU book to recommend to someone wanting to watch Rogue One and get them on our side? X-Wing books. X-Wing books. That's the true Rogue sum. You can also find this podcast using third-party podcasts. I use Podcast Addict app. Oh, thanks, Nick. Do you think Justice is going to be amazing? Don't know anything about it. Don't watch Young Justice. Have I watched Star Trek Beyond? Yes, I did. I did enjoy Star Trek Beyond. I did like it. I like Star Trek a lot, not as much as I used to, but I still will watch the Star Treks. I think that was the. I think I'm. Oh, we haven't talked about Star Trek on Prince of the Universe, huh? I'll be. By the end of this year, I promise we'll do a Star Trek episode. That's amazing. I thought we talked about Star Trek, but I know we haven't yet. It's still on the list of things to talk about. We'll do a Star Trek episode on Prince of the Universe. I do like Star Trek. Um, what are my thoughts on the Batman Arkham games? I love them. In fact, the last video games I ever played was Arkham Origins. I haven't played Arkham Knight because I don't have the new Xbox. I don't want the new Xbox because I'd only wanted to play Arkham Knight, and after I play Arkham Knight, I would never use it again. Like the Xbox 360 I have in our room is the most expensive DVD player in the world. It mainly plays DVDs. It does not play video games anymore. I am totally out of video games. Would I ever go back and play the Arkham games again? Yes. I think those are awesome games. Is Arkham Knight going to be good? I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's just as good as everyone says. But, maybe when I don't know, maybe when the Xbox One goes down to $100 and I can get a cheap copy of Arkham Knight, which is probably now, I'll do it. But I don't know. I may have gotten it out of video games completely now. I love board games. Love board games. Board games are so much fun. More fun to me now. But I did love the Arkham games. I love them. Will you be waiting for Star Trek Discovery? Yeah, I'm interested to see what Star Trek Discovery is about. Would you have liked Hayden Christensen in Filoni's Clone Wars if you expressed interest in reprising his role as Anakin? I wouldn't be interested anymore in Filoni's Clone Wars. I think that series went way too long. I do not watch the Flash TV series. I hear it's great, though. Firestorm, that's his name. Thank you, everyone. Someone said Ghost Rider. Yeah. I actually do love those movies, though. Firestorm. Man, you guys are good. How many original Kenner figures do you own? Oh, none anymore. Sadly. Oh, no. I have an Ewok. One, maybe two. It'd be something I'd love to do. Like I said, my friend Troy, he has a complete set. I'm super jealous. I would love. Hopefully, I'm in his will to receive all those should he pass away. Because that would be pretty friggin' awesome to have a complete collection of toys. I just don't have the time or the money. You have to really dedicate yourself, like my friend did, and to get that whole collection. That's really nice. Like me, you have to dedicate yourself a long time to get these collections of all the EU material too, right? Of course, those original toys are awesome. Oh, you had to pay for him? Oh, he charges now. Kevin Conroy charges now. Yeah, he wasn't back in the day. He wasn't charging. I guess it's the thing now to charge to make money. Ghost Rider getting Netflix series? I hope not. I hate how he's portrayed on what's that? Agents of Shield. I hate Agents of Shield. This is my last. Again, I'm going to quit the series for a second time. I did like that they put the original Ghost Rider in it. Spoiler alert, but they did. I like that. That was okay, but that's one good episode out of a whole bunch of floppy episodes, and I'm not going to be tricked into watching another whole season. I'll finish this season off because I finish things through. But after that, I'm done with Agents of Shield. If I was force sensitive in Star Wars, which era would I want to live in? Who would you want to teach you? Oh, it had to be Luke's New Jedi Order. Not the New Jedi Order era with the Vong. That'd be nuts. But some of the peaceful times in between the Bantam years, where I'd love to learn under Luke. Is there anything in Rogue One that caught my attention? Honestly, I saw the trailer a year ago, and I haven't seen anything else since. And I don't remember anything. I'm so sorry. I don't remember. I seriously don't remember anything of the trailer now. I remember thinking that was Rey's mom or something, or I don't know who's who anymore. Do you think StarCraft will get a movie? After World of Warcraft bombed but did well overseas, it's hard to say. Do I wish I could have seen more Jedi Purge in the Return of the Sith movie? Yeah, but I think that would have made a good TV show, right? Darth Vader, The Purge, where he kills a Jedi off every week. I think that'd been neat. Any stories of Luke returning to Endor? Yeah, there's one where he returns back. No, he doesn't. Kip does. Does Luke ever return back to Endor? I don't think he does. Kip does, and he goes to Darth Vader's pyre to look over the ashes. It's actually really good. That's in Kevin J. Anderson's Jedi Academy trilogy. It's very good. Do you watch Star Wars fan films on YouTube? Not that many. Not that many. I'm not really a fan film kind of guy. I hear there's some good ones. I do know about the one with Jane and Jai. I've seen that one and a few others. Some are okay. Some I'm like, the acting's a little shoddy in it. They never saw Death Mail. Do I think Star Wars should be owned by Paramount Pictures? No. If anyone, let me make this clear. If anyone would have gotten the rights to Star Wars, the expanded universe would have gone away. I think George was the only person keeping it alive. Because they can't resist the fact of just they'd be churning out just as many movies as Disney would. In my opinion, I think they would. So I don't think it matters who had it. Just as long as George had it, I knew there weren't going to be that. They weren't going to just flood the market in Star Wars stuff, and we're going to have a very healthy expanded universe. But oh well, woulda, shoulda, coulda, right? Recently started a book collection inspired by your own collection. Are there any advice you can give me on to preserve and take care of those books? Not much. I mean, keep them in a dry, fairly air-conditioned area. And every once in a while, blow the dust off of them. Some of mine get dusty after a while. In fact, so any of the newer ones, when I go through them, I'll blow some dust off of it. But some of the later novels, I haven't done that in a few years, so they got a little dust on them, I bet. So just blow the dust on them, dust them, everything. But that's about it. Comic books, my brother didn't keep comic books in a bag anymore. He thinks it's worthless. And I got to agree. I mean, I have all my comic books in the bag, but it's kind of aggravating to slip it out, open up, and then slip it back in. But my brother removed all his from the bag. Do bags help? Yeah, a little bit. But are you ever going to sell them? My brother says he's never going to sell his comic books. I'm never going to either. So I do have some comic books that are out of the bag. I'm not worried about getting bags for them. So if you have to pay for bags for them, you don't have to. I wouldn't bag it. I'd keep them in a nice central area where they're dry and it's not too humid or whatnot in there. Other than that, though, yeah, that'd be my only tips there. I don't think the Old Republic will ever be canon again. No, they've repeatedly said no on that. They've been very firm on that in the past. Disney would never sell any piece of Star Wars off, even expanded universe. They want all that money. And who knows? They may be thinking, hey, you know what? If they keep asking for this, we're going to give it to them because it's all about making money, folks. It's all about making money. It's not about anything else but making money. And if they see there's money to be made in expanded universe novels, they're going to make more. That's just fact. All right. Learning under Mara Jade, Jaina, or Jason under New Jedi Order would be great. Would be great as well, but Luke would be my favorite. Do Luke and Leia ever find out about their mother? They do later on, way later on. Once Coruscant is level to the ground in a book, they find Jedi archives that kind of reveal a lot more. Meaning the prequels had come out and now they could talk about it. All right. Don't play the Old Republic. So Knights of the Old Republic, Eternal Throne, do not know. Saw the trailer, thought it was neat. What EU book? What EU book tells us how the Death Star plans are stolen? That would be the book Death Star, actually. It's a really good book. Yes, Louisiana is very humid. That's why I keep saying about humidity. We have a lot of humidity here. Did you ever want George Lucas to write an EU book? Not really. Technically he wrote Star Wars, right? And Alan Dean Foster did, but nah. I don't think he would want to. He doesn't have the patience for that, I don't think. Plus, he wouldn't have the knowledge either now. I don't think Star Wars will ever lose money. I don't think it will. I think it always will be relevant, like Star Trek and a few other things, like Harry Potter. They're not going to stop making Harry Potter films, folks. This one coming out in December, it's just the tip of the iceberg. J.K. Rowling needs to make money, and so she knows movies is the only way. Movies are more books, and even though she said she's not going to make any more, we're already seeing that that's a lie. You gotta do it when the money talks. You gotta keep making that money. And Death Star is a big retcon book. Yeah, I can't wait to review it. The reason they're not getting rid of the Old Republic, Lucasfilm isn't, is because it makes a lot of money, makes tons of money for them. And to be honest, like I said, if it makes money, they're gonna. I'm kind of surprised why they won't do more EU. I think we presented it wrong. Let's see, catching up here. Yeah, I think we did it wrong. I think the message somehow got construed. Man, I'm not asking them to get rid of the new canon. I just want to get expanded universe stories still going. It can be online on StarWars.com. Have a little Legends tab where they hire authors to do little short stories or something like that. Anything like that to continue our story on would be great. Ebooks, they don't have to be in print. Anything like that would be awesome, and I would not complain. I would just read a bunch of Legend stuff. And more Star Wars is better for everyone. So the reason they won't do it, there's just not someone behind there pushing. And if we get more people involved and pushing the right ideas, they'll say, oh, if that's all you want, then yeah, we'll give it to you. And then we win because new expanded universe stuff is coming out. There's a lot of people who love expanded universe stuff, but they think, oh, these EU people, they want to get rid of the new stuff. No, we don't. No, we don't. Don't want that at all. Or they want the movies to include the EU. We don't want the EU included in the new canon either. We just want separate, expanded universe, alternate storylines, and that's it. That's all we want. So once they get that idea and the right people get involved, I think it's an easy win for us. Easy win. All right. Let's see. Would the Sith Emperor be able to take down the Galactic Emperor from Sidious? I think Sidious would win. I answered that question last time, I think. I think Sidious would win. What is one novel or comic from the EU that is so bad you wish never existed? I can't say yet. I haven't gotten to it yet. Some of you have guessed it. I'm not going to even admit it if you guessed it right. But some of you have guessed it. There's one. I haven't gotten to my #1 most reviled novel. I can't wait to get to it too. But anyway, I'll answer that question as I go through the EU in chronological order. If Final Fantasy hadn't done the job already, who do you think would have written a retcon for the Clone Wars or a comic book? I don't know. I think it would have come out in a guide, one of the guides too. I think they would have done that. Or Leland Chi would have just said it in a forum, and that's how it would have been. So the way they did it in the RPG book worked well. Do I think the Legacy of the Force fan film on YouTube? Again, I watched it. I thought it was all right. Again, with LucasArts, Disney's decision to close down LucasArts boggles my mind. I still don't know why. Don't know why they did it. Have you heard of Disney explanation for red crystals for lightsabers? I'm afraid to ask. No. What stories or even video game stories in the Star Wars expanded universe to continue? What stories would I want continued? The main storyline after Crucible. That would be one of them I would love to see. I'd like to see more Old Republic fleshed out. I'd like to see Imperial Commando finished. What's it called? Force Unleashed books finished. There's a ton of stuff I want to see. I want to see more stuff within the New Jedi Order, more Vong stories. But I definitely want to see the main storyline after Crucible continue in that time in between that and Legacy comic books. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know the most. Did I like Transformers from the 80s? Yes, more than meets the eye. But you know what? I stopped watching it. I stopped watching it when the movie came out, even though I love the movie now. But I stopped watching it because when Optimus Prime died, that broke my psyche as a kid and a lot of us as kids. And I gave up on Transformers cold turkey. I hated Transformers because they killed off Optimus Prime. You should read the behind the scenes of the making of that movie because they did it to make new toys. They didn't think it would impact kids the way it did. And they had to totally backtrack and put Optimus Prime back from the dead, which made no sense in the new cartoon series, just so kids would calm down. But they didn't realize they were destroying kids' lives. They were just trying to sell toys. And they let these people write whatever they wanted. It's a very dark movie. It's fantastic now, but as a kid, broke my psyche when I watched that movie. Amazing. Will I be doing an interview with any EU writers? You know what? I thought about that. I haven't at all because it's hard to get a hold of them prior to these cons. And when they're at the cons, they don't have that much time. If they had the downtime, I would ask them if they could. I'd love to talk to Kevin J. Anderson, Dave Wolverton, which is amazing, amazing guy to talk to. Troy Denning, incredible. I would love to do that. It's just finding I don't have their contact information, first off. And then secondly, it's finding the time at these conventions when I go there to have them sit down and talk to me. So those are the two vying factors. Maybe going forward, I'll try to get their contact information so I can do interviews with them. I would love to do that. I would love to do that. There's also a good friend of mine who's used to be a Star Wars editor that I want on the podcast, but he's been too busy. I've been too busy, but he's got so much knowledge, more than me, on the expanded universe. He's a really smart guy and a really good friend, and I'd like to have him on. Joe Bongiorno from StarWarsTimeline.net. Great guy. Rich Hanley has also agreed to be on the podcast, but we're waiting to see if those Sequart books are coming out, which I still haven't heard a word from Sequart yet. They may be gone now. We don't know what's going on, but if they're releasing one a year, then the next one should come out, next year? I don't know. I'll make a point to email Sequart today and see if they can get me an answer sometime about those books, because I don't know what happened to them. I'd love to see them because there's a lot of good stuff. The next one's about the comic books, and it's really fantastic, the portions I've read of it. I don't think Disney owes the Give Us Legends people an apology. I think the fan sites do, who misrepresent and twist the meaning of the group, and they've really labeled us. And it's a bullying tactic to label someone and not even hear their point of view. They just have a point of view that's different from you, so you label them one way, and that way you make them look bad. Those are the people who should be apologizing, not Disney or Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm's actually been very kind to the movement. They've been very kind and understanding. They knew the whole spoiler jihad. They knew that wasn't us, even though it got reported by every fan site. They said, hey, we know it's not a particular place here. And they even said, we know it's not you. So they're smart enough to know what's going on. But the fan sites are the one that needs to apologize, because they're the ones who've been atrocious in their behavior. Atrocious. No, I haven't read a Force Unleashed 3 WordPress blog. That's interesting. Let's see. Oh, I'm almost out of time here. All right, let me see. Do I think the Millennium Falcon between Darth Bane and Phantom Menace should be covered with comic books? You know what? The Millennium between Darth Bane and Phantom Menace. Sure. You can have. I think Drew Carpenter was going to do that. I think a Darth Xana book would have been next, which I would have loved. So that little lineage, yeah, I think that would have been a great series to do. Please tell me that's not how red lightsabers are made. I don't need to hear that. That's so depressing. What do you think happened to Jar Jar after Revenge of the Sith? He died a very painful death. He had a death stick overdose. Let's see. Has there ever been a novel that shows Darth Vader's dark side training? No, there hasn't. Interesting. That's a topic they should have broached more. But no, Remember, lessons learned by the Emperor were in the comic books, but actual training him in the dark side, not much. We're not told much about that. Which one of the original Indiana Jones did Darth Sidious? Well, hold on. First off, did Darth Sidious know about the Vong? I think he may have. Which of my original the original Indiana Jones is your favorite, and how do I feel about number 5? Oh, that's so hard. I love all 3 of them. The originals. Raiders of the Lost Ark, classic movie. Everyone should love that movie. Temple of Doom has great cinematography. And I love Roundhouse. Short Round. Fantastic character. I love that one. And Last Crusade's so funny, and Sean Connery's at his best. So they're all hits. The last one, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, not as good. Had some good moments, but not as good. 5, I will watch. Remember, they're keeping the expanded universe from Indiana Jones. They're keeping that intact. It's not as big, and you can have stories in there because they didn't make that many books. They made only a handful of books. I want to say 16 books and a few children's books, 32 children's novels, and then some comic books too that talk about various adventures. But you can always do an adventure with Indiana Jones. So they're not retconning any of that. They're not getting rid of it. The Indiana Jones expanded universe, for the 5 people who care about it, is still there. And I still want to read them all. Maybe I should start collecting Indiana Jones books now. Oh, that's a smart idea. I'm almost done with these. After this, I'm going to read a few other books on my list. The John Carter of Mars series is on the list. And maybe after that, maybe I'll start collecting Indiana Jones. Do you like Jurassic Park? Yep. Love the books. Love the books. Love the movies too. No. You know what? I don't watch many of the DC animated films, but Bruce from Prince of the Universe does. He thinks they're great. He gives me some that he has, and the ones I've seen are good. I haven't seen Flashpoint, but he usually buys them all because he says DC. He's a Marvel guy, but he admits that DC animated universe is fantastic. Their movies are great. Marvel animated universe movies are garbage, and that's coming from a Marvel fan. Bruce is a Marvel fan. What do I think about the anti-EU Facebooks pages? You know what? Those people are just full of hate. They're just full of hate. Is all they are. Just ignore them. Ignore those type of people. They don't even deserve our time. Just ignore them. Idiots. Do the Jedi build their temple over an ancient Sith temple on Coruscant? No, I don't think so. Now, the temple on Yavin 4 was built, and there were Sith underneath it. You know, Exar Kun. If you're talking about the Jedi Academy trilogy, so yes. But on Coruscant, no. Has Anakin ever appeared to Luke post-Jedi? No. He appeared to Leia. He never appeared to Luke. Clone Wars is supposed to have 8 seasons. Ugh, that's scary. Wow, y'all jumped in a lot here. Okay, I'm going to have to wrap this up, but let's see. New Order established. Okay. Any opinions on Battlefront 2 happening? Don't really care about the video games. What would you have liked to see Anderson's original plan for the next big threat to the galaxy? We actually did. His what is it called? Saga of the Seven Sons is a Star Wars idea he pitched to Bantam. It didn't get made, so he just changed the characters, changed the planet names and the vehicles, and just made it his own storyline. And actually, his other trilogy, the Dark Between the Stars trilogy, is fantastic stuff. Even better than the Saga of the Seven Sons in a way. So I've been reading it, and it's really good. So we got to see his version. Would I like to see him come back in the old expanded universe? Absolutely. I think he was fantastic. It's no secret he's one of my favorite authors. Haven't seen Umber Flip Cinematics. Okay, on the Old Republic little trailers, yeah, I've seen them all. I think they're amazing. I think they make for amazing stories. I think they make for amazing novels. I think all the video games would have made amazing novels. Anyway, folks, that is it. That is all the time I have for now. You know, I tried to get the missus to come in and sit down just to visit and see if she could answer, even read some of these. and it was, yeah, she couldn't do it because she was busy. She's trying to get some work done, and but I would have loved to have had her be on this. Maybe next time I will. And hey, this is the end of my 2,000 subscriber celebration already. I think I have like 229 or something. That's incredible. That's incredible. Folks, thank you so much. Thank you so much for 2,000 subscribers. That's just really insane. There's that many people out there who want to watch the channel and everything, and I really appreciate that. I do. I know I've said this a billion times, but I wish we could just talk in real life, like face to face, because I think we all would get along. We'd have fun. We'd laugh. And I do consider you all friends. But anyway, folks, that is it for me. I've got to get on with the rest of my day. I really like Saturday mornings. I hope you do too. It looks like a lot of people could get on. Plus, my good friends from overseas can get on, which is somewhat of the purpose of why I do it at this time. So if you like this time, let me know in the comments and whatnot. Folks, I will see you later. If I can figure out how to close it out. Oh, there it is. Bye.